Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take one more look here at SUI, see what's going on. Just a quick brief overview, kind of touching on my previous analysis. Some few people were curious on basically my trade alerts, where I send those out on Twitter, Telegram, or Discord, kind of just like a play out chart, letting you know what's going on. This excellent chart is generally a place of kind of confirmation if it were to have broken. So hypothetically, the best place to have entered here would be here if the price were to bullishly backtest that previous resistance level. So far, we're seeing the price action reject at that level. So basically, that's a good place to consider a short, right? Again, that's the short end of it. I'm not telling you to short this coin by any stretch. Do not walk away from this rolling your eyes, saying that this guy's full of crap because he told me to short this coin that is always very volatile to the upside. I'm not saying that. I'm just letting you know that this is a point of contention, this 470 level, that range. Until we break above it, it doesn't make a ton of sense to take a long into it, right? Because again, we could continue to reject out. Just say Bitcoin pulls back, SUI will as well. While SUI is a very good front runner for Bitcoin, kind of letting us know when the alts are back on track, it's not really doing that this time. And it's important to recognize that it's kind of underperforming, but mainly because it is still fairly overextended in the overall sense, where a lot of alts are playing catch up today. Okay, so just recognize that. Either way you look at it, last 7 days, we can kind of see on the left-hand side, we're in the middle of that range. We probably need to zoom in a little bit to kind of see any short-term liquidation. Just kind of get some ideas here that there is more liquidation on the downside than the upside. So there's some longs as low as 440 to 455. That could be an area of liquidation before the price recovers and comes back up. I'm not proposing that that's going to happen. Just know that that's a very distinct probability. If the price were to pull back, it'll probably hit these ranges. Okay? So that's why it's important. A lot of times liquidation levels, you can set limit orders right within them and get a lot of good fills that way. No matter how you look at though, the macro perspective here, not looking great from a liquidation standpoint, basically telling us there's more liquidation that's closer to the downside than the upside. And generally speaking, when liquidation is closer, it's more likely to get swept. Big surprise, right? That's kind of how that goes. That's why you see resistance or support levels consistently retested and then broken. That's because there's a lot of liquidation at those ranges, i.e. support or resistance, but also market makers will push the price action in those directions to effectively limit any and all opposition. Okay, people wonder why market makers move prices in these directions. It's because when they wipe out any other potential shorts or longs, then they can move and manipulate the price a lot better and easier after that, right? Because again, if you have nobody standing in your way, you can do whatever you want, right? That's generally what the idea is. Either way to look at it here, we're getting closer to break even on liquidation delta. That's a good sign, letting us know we're at this point of contention, Bollinger Band compression type of situation where the price starts to compress and range. It's due to break out in either direction. So I do think SUI is due to break out. The question is it going to go up or down? I'm feeling more so on the upside, just based on the simple fact that it's starting to squeeze into a type of pennant pattern. Bitcoin's exuding similar behaviors, just a bit better of a performer today. And it's the front runner if it continues to move towards its liquidation range. By the way, Bitcoin has a ton of liquidation at 97.5 to 98.5. If that level is swept, I think SUI is going to start running towards its current resistance range to try to break through that. But there's no joke that 470 to 480 is a solid rejection area. Every time we've come into this range here previously, we see an initial rejection. So let's take a quick look here at open interest and get back on the charts. We can see there's a lot of late longs at 450 and previous longs at 480. So a lot of folks are either underwater or just barely in profit right now. So just know that 480, what do you know? That's that upper level, that resistance range is going to work as a resistance because there's a lot of positions at that level and they're going to want to exit their position, exit liquidity, if and when the price retests that level. That's why open interest is an important thing to recognize because it does tell us a lot about where the price action should go or where it should reject off support and resistance ranges. Daily time frame, let's talk about this. Still mostly bullish, but this is not a great sign here. We're tentatively below the 20 SMA. I mentioned this previously, being above the 50 is a fantastic situation, but don't get it twisted. It doesn't mean that the price is just going to continue to go up forever because it's staying above that. The more you retest those levels, the more likely they are to break. And natural capitulation is completely normal. Okay, it's very standard for price action to retrace, albeit this is the only coin right now that's underperforming contrary to the rest of the market, which is rather odd. But it's also very standard and makes sense considering how high this coin has been. It's very overinflated in the overall sense, and it would just be awesome for the price to keep going down so we can add to our spot bags as it does, right? That's the concept. Anyways, being under the 20-day SMA would not be great. So we want to close at 465, preferably 470 or higher to be above that local resistance, okay? Same thing here as well with the RSI being at 50. We got to close at the current price point or higher in order to have some legs to stand on. Getting below 50 on the RSI gets us in kind of scary territory. We're not really used to this coin doing that, but I can tell you that generally speaking, most coins will continue to progress lower if you lose that support range, okay? And that'll inevitably become a resistance. So we are in a situation right now where we're kind of make or break. 470, 465, that range there, we have to close above it soon or we're going to have some potentially bad days. We're not totally out of the race yet. I'm not calling it or saying that. I'm just giving you food for thought here. That's how it's supposed to work. And we've also known that SUI is contrary or performs contrary to the majority of the market. So it's kind of funny that it's the only one that's down here today, but it makes perfect sense considering that it's just kind of waiting to leg up for, it's waiting to find its time. And it's a really dynamic and unique coin. Interesting to trade, but never a good coin to try to short. You always want to take longs with this coin. Let's take a quick look here, though, and just see, is it worth taking along? Based on the 4-hour time frame, no. This tells us that we are consistently rejecting out at this resistance of 50 in the RSI, which is reflective of that 470 resistance on the charts. We can see MACD is trying to converge, but pretty much drawing dead. The stochastic swinging down, money flow index running flat. There's not a lot of reasons to take a long position right now. And again, I'm sure you're probably rolling your eyes and thinking that every time I take a long, I'm in profit. That's true, but this does feel a little bit different. And you can see that this descending type of trend is it's having difficulty breaking above this specific range. Taking a look here at the Ichimoku Cloud. Good news is, hypothetically, we go sideways for another 12 to 24 hours. We'll be in a position where the price action should be able to naturally break to the upside, okay? So as again, if you take a look here, this is somewhat of a bullish sign, right? It's not great. This is like a 55% probability with these type of breakouts with the bull pennant type of pattern. And by no means is that like phenomenal, but it is technically establishing parallel lows and lower highs. Usually when you see that, there's typically a breakdown that occurs, but we originate from the upside, so this pattern is technically slightly bullish. But there's no thing to really get twisted here, because again, if you see this, or sorry, don't get this twisted, don't misinterpret this. The lagging span soon intersect with the price action. That's a bearish sign. Conversion line is below the baseline, the other way around actually, which is moderately bullish because it has a little uptrend. And then of course we're still within the cloud, essentially considered to be a no buy zone. So the best way to describe it here is that you want to wait for confirmation. I would wait for a 470 or higher close before I take a long. If you're going to insist on a trade, 465 in another 24 hours. If we're at 465 or higher in 24 hours, that would make sense to consider a long. So once again, it's not a perfect situation, folks, but you don't want to take a long into this kind of situation. There's really very few confirming factors letting us know that it's worthwhile taking a long. If you do take a long right now and it goes into profit and the price takes off from here, then it's more so luck, which again isn't bad. It's just that you should be trading on skill, not luck, right? And again, skill is what I just showed you here. Everything that we see so far, that is, that basically takes some kind of understanding of the market. And once more, I'm not boasting whatsoever, but my success rate is 75 to 85% on average as far as entry targets and hitting our profit targets. And I wouldn't take a trade with this coin right now. Okay, you're going against the grain. You're fighting. You're swimming upstream if you're trying to take a long right now with SUI. That's the simple way to understand it. Once more, a little bit of patience might prevail, because if the price doesn't reject out, because again, this is a descending type of trend, say we break down, you'd be happy you didn't take a long. But the truth is, we want to be able to see something like this. That's when you take a long here. Or preferably, comes up to retest 485, back down to 470. That's when you get in for a long, okay? Because again, we'd be establishing a higher high at that point, and that's important. But right now, I think it's a little premature. Just my personal opinion. I hope you found benefit, though. I'm going to go ahead and put our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord here shortly. You'll see that there. If you want to become part of our Trading Academy Community Signals group, these are some of the results that we had for last month. This is a slower month, honestly, folks. We're not taking a lot of trades, so just be mindful of that. It's not the strongest month, just based on opportunities being kind of weird this month. A lot of confirming factors are going out the window. If you take a look here, though, we did take a nice short from Bitcoin, about 96,000 to 89K, good 60% there. So congrats on that. Make sure if you are in our community, you're watching and reading through our trade alerts. These are important things. I kind of explain why I take the trades that I take. And then my signals guide too, you have to understand how my trades work and use proper risk tolerance, okay? So please read through that just so you understand the general concept before you blindly take a long position or a short position with my coins. Or sorry, not my coins, but my trades I take with coins that I cover here. All right, folks, have a good rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you again soon. Take care.